Sup nerds, Wired here, reminding you that I love robots, and of course if you love them too, you should definitely subscribe to my channel.
I told you I can't make it slay. Jim, can you record the talk back? Record that, Jim. Bet.
Sup nerds, Wired here, and welcome to the first review ever on Junk Robot, Crysis 2 for the PS3. The newest release from acclaimed developers Crytek, best known for Crysis for the personal computer, and also the expansion to Crysis, Crysis Warhead. I'm going to try to get right to the point in this review. I don't like to monologue, especially on reviews. That's just foolish. So I hope you guys are ready, because we're going to get started right now. First, we're going to talk about the mechanics of Crysis 2, which really does set it apart from different games in the FPS genre. Crysis 2 has opened my eyes to a different level of depth in FPS that I've never seen before. I mean, this game pretty much lets you do what you want. I love the different modes on your suit, from being agile to being stealthy to being an armored tank machine. It's awesome. It feels great. It feels weighty. The character, you know, when he's carrying something heavy, he feels like he's carrying something heavy. When he's in agile mode, he feels agile. They really capture that feel perfectly, in my opinion. I love how easy it is to switch from modes. Single buttons to do things. You don't have to deactivate one mode, then activate another. If you're in armor, you can immediately switch to stealth. I love that. That makes it so much more streamlined and so much easier to bring all these mechanics together and make it into one fluid system. Now, some of the other mechanics that I loved was the visor. Being able to scan the battlefield for tactical advantages and places you can burn or blow up, or it really adds another era of depth. Oh, I can prepare for my fights before I even get there. I can know where the best place to snipe is. I can know what can be blown up, what can be shot at, what can do this. I know where my enemies are standing. And it's awesome that that features in the game. I wish the range on that was a little further, because it seemed like once I was trying to prepare, I always had to move closer in to get everybody scanned, but that's fine, like I said. I also love the nanovision, which is basically thermal vision. This really fits well because a lot of the enemies are either extremely far away from you all the time, or there's so much going on in the battlefield. Explosions, smoke, gunfire, you know, typical FPS stuff, that you really can lose track of how many enemies are on screen at once. So nanovision really brings you back into reality and snaps you into like a mode where I know where my guys that I have to eliminate are. I don't have to worry about these guys over here, but these guys over here I have to kill. I really love that added, technological advancement. And I'm not going to lie, it really made me feel like I was playing as the Predator. Next up, we're going to talk about the Nanosuit that acts as not only your HUD, but also the catalyst to all your abilities in the game, including stealth, scanning, infrared, and all this other sort of things. During the progress of the game, the Nanosuit starts to meld with not only your character, but also starts taking on features of the alien race, I guess you could say. It starts melding with their DNA and their cell structure, which allows you to upgrade your suit at certain points. This includes getting abilities like running faster and taking less stamina or energy to run, because everything is run off the suit's energy supply. So it's actually a nice little mixture of suit energy management during a lot of the game. You'll have to manage your energy. It does recharge very quickly. However, you can find yourself very low on energy very fast, especially if you're in like something like stealth, and also sprinting, because sprinting actually takes energy as well. So anyway, you can upgrade your suit on your fingers. Actually, I know it's a funny little user interface, but it actually upgrades his suit on his fingers, and you have plenty to choose from. It seems like everyone has a different feature. This upgrades your defense. This upgrades your offense. This upgrades your speed, and so forth. So that's also a nice little feature. It fits right into not having all these bulky menus on the screen. The font on the user interface is kind of small. You could tell it's not built for HD TVs. It's obviously built for PC, not console. You can have a really tough time reading it, especially since the font is it's kind of like a drowned out grayish blue. It's very hard to see it in some of the lighter levels, like where the sun is shining and stuff. But like I said, This doesn't detract from the experience enough. Energy is easy enough to recognize when it's down. It's a big bar, so there's no issues there. But yeah, the suit pretty much has the stealth function, which allows you to go invisible and stealth around, run around. Also has the armor function, which allows you to slap armor on, and you pretty much become a huge tank for a short amount of time. It also lets you to run faster and do super jumps. Super jump is done by holding down the X button or the A button on Xbox 360, I believe it's still. That allows you to do a super jump that lets you go around huge gaps or jump and grab ledges and get up to higher ground and get the tactical advantage that way. Also has the built-in scanner and the infrared nano system that we actually looked at earlier, so I won't be doing any more on those. However, we will touch upon the armor a little bit more and also the stealth ability. Now, the stealth ability is not the best feature in the game. There is bugs as far as it goes, especially even after you get the silent walking or running, silent footsteps, I should say. Enemies will still be able to see you in stealth about 80% of the time, even if you're behind them. I thought that was kind of stupid, but I guess it's to balance the game out. Otherwise, you could pretty much just run around stealth killing everyone, and you'd never have an issue. Next up is the armor mode, which is my favorite mode, and it pretty much just turns you into a huge walking tank. You're able to deflect bullets off your suit, and you also pretty much become very, very hard to kill, almost impossible to kill while in armor mode if you have full health and are in it. I noticed you could pretty much sit there and tank almost anything on the normal difficulty. I doubt you could do that on the harder difficulties. But the armor mode also lets you jump from high areas, skyscrapers and stuff like that, and survive the fall. So the armor really has a double duty ability. I love it. I love the sound. I love the weight. You really feel heavy when you're in armor mode. So it's a pretty cool ability as well. Next up, we're going to be talking about the weapons in Crysis 2, which a lot of people think that weapons pretty much make the shooter. I disagree with that. Crysis 2's pretty much got all your standard archetypes covered as far as weapons are concerned. The assault rifles, the shotguns, the sniper rifles, the grenade launchers, the regular grenades. All that stuff is covered. I don't want to go real in depth with the weapons because they're not really very much different. And I'm actually kind of disappointed with the layout of the weapons that are available in the game. So there's 2 assault rifles, a sniper rifle, 2 different shotguns, 1 pump action and 1 fully automatic shotgun. 2 assault rifles, 2 machine SMGs. So there was pretty much just 2 of every gun type. You'd have an early version, which was somewhat weak, and then toward the middle of the game, you would be able to upgrade to the stronger version. No big deal here. Nothing really original or stand out. There was a microwave gun at some point. I don't have much footage of it for some reason because you get it so few times in the game, so I was not able to find any footage for it. But as far as I'm concerned, the guns are one of the weaker aspects in this game. But they work in the world. It's not some place where you just get a million guns in this world. I understand it. There's typical stuff, rocket launchers, just typical shooting items that are pretty much present in every game, just with a more futuristic twist to them. Like I said, no guns really stood out. The best thing about the guns was the on-the-fly modding. You could at any point just stop and mod your gun per the situation, which was pretty cool. So yeah, that's all I have to really say about weapons. I mean, they were decent, but nothing really stands out and really came off as awesome or original. So they did a good job, but they didn't do a great job with the weapons. Next up in the review is the presentation of Crysis 2, and probably its greatest asset, the graphics. This is obviously a graphics powerhouse, quite possibly the greatest graphics you will see ever on console thus far. A lot of people will say, well, what about Killzone? This game is way, way, way better looking than Killzone. I'll just put that out there now. Anyone who wants to argue that with me can argue that with me all fucking day. Killzone looks like you're looking in a dream sequence because of how muddy the textures look. I hate the visual style of Killzone. It is original. However, you can tell how they cut corners in certain places to save on memory. Crysis 2 is beautiful, period. There is not a low texture in Crysis 2. You find one, you send it to me. I will edit this fucking video and make sure to say there is a low texture in this game. But I have yet to see it. So let's talk about some more of the presentation and stop ranting about how people are going to be like, oh my god, shut up, Killzone's the shit. No. Let's talk about this. The scale. The scale in this game is something I can completely relate to and understand and realize that they captured it perfectly. I live in a big city. I live in Chicago, Illinois. I am 8 minutes from downtown. 8 minutes. I'm there almost every single day. I know what it looks like to see those buildings from the ground. I know what it feels like to be on top of those buildings and look down to the ground. So I can understand the scale perfectly. They truly captured the real-time scale in this game. It feels like you're there in New York City. The cars, just the placement of the cars are perfect for like an NYC kind of, like a normal NYC day. They're crowded all over and there's traffic. And it's just awesome how you get that feeling like this place was so alive before these aliens just showed up and all these people just got out of their cars and started running. You know what I mean? It felt alive. And you're just there seeing the skeleton, basically, of what's left of NYC. I mean, the epic moments in this game alone are ridiculous. The particle effects, the visual effects, the explosions, the laser shooting things that the enemies use. The enemies, too, look beautiful. Just beautiful. Everything is lovingly rendered in high resolution. I mean, I can't believe that the PS3 can run this shit. But they really did a good job with it. I will say, though, when I do put Crysis 2 in my PS3, it sounds like a fucking lawnmower. But that's a necessary sacrifice to get the kind of quality you're going to get with this game. The presentation is just gorgeous. I can't say enough about it. Palette swaps. They do a great job of palette swapping. Colors, all different kinds of colors in this game. You wouldn't expect that from a shooter. Daytimes, nighttimes, browns, grays, tans, greens, oranges, reds. All these colors are in this game. The sun, the vista views. Oh my goodness. The dynamic water effects just just on regular gameplay. When you're standing on a building, you can see how the waves of the water dynamically reflect and move. And you can see the Statue of Liberty blown up in the background. You can see all these skyscrapers. One of them's on fire, smoking. I mean, it feels like you're there. I can't be more honest than what I'm saying now. It feels so beautiful. It really is excellent. Excellent to look at, breathtaking. I don't know if a game on console is going to be able to capture what that captured. That's all I can say. I don't think a game is going to be able to capture what they captured in Crysis 2. So let's talk about some of the negatives that I didn't like in the presentation. Mostly some of the character models were very robotic. Now I know I like robots, but I don't like my people robotic. That's just foolish. I believe that's more because of Crytek's decision to in-house animate as opposed to motion capture, which is pretty typical of PC gaming. Those guys do like to animate their own stuff, so I can understand that. But that's pretty much my only gripe. And also the voice acting is really spotty in times. But that harkens back to me remembering this is a European-developed game, and I don't think English is their first language. I think it's a German developer, something like that. So, I don't know. I just want to finish the presentation section with one last thing. My favorite epic moment from the game is the area when you are actually just getting out of the library and the people come up from the subway and the guy tells you, come on, help my wife. I love that part. All the soldiers are like, holy shit, let's get the fuck out of here. Leave him. And your character Alcatraz is like, no, I gotta save him. I'm a hero, damn it. So he's waiting for her to pull her up and shit. He can't pull her up. Out of nowhere, a huge blue orb of some shit hits the skyscraper. The fucking thing explodes and starts falling down on your character. That was awesome. My favorite part, by far. Thank you, Crytek. And you guys owe me new boxer shorts, Crytek. Just letting you know. Alright, the last section of the review is on the story. I'm going to keep this extremely short because I thought that was the obvious weakest aspect of the game was the storyline. Did I like the story? I really didn't understand the story for about 80% of the game. Like I said, it just drops you into this game. Everything's already been fleshed out in a prior game, but you know, not everybody who's playing this game had the computer to play the first game. So I think they really dropped the ball on that by not trying to bring in newer players to the series in slower or more. I thought that was like a real big flaw to the game in general. Like I said, I didn't know what was going on for about 80% of the game. I really just didn't understand most of the stuff that was going on. I did predict some of the twists. If you do watch my playthrough, which I will link from here, the playlist, because, you know, I'm baller like that. Either way, let's get on with this. Storyline-wise, weakest aspect by far. Simply put, most of the story is literally you just trying to find people running around. Whenever you get close, they start fucking driving away somewhere else or start running somewhere else, and then you got to go through another mission where you got to try and get to them. That's pretty much the whole story. They throw in this guy named Prophet. Prophet is obviously the main character from the first game. They tell you nothing about him other than he used to have this suit before you, and then he kills himself. That's it. Then you got the suit. You're a super soldier now. I have no clue what the fuck's going on. So by the end of the game, they finally flesh all that stuff out, and the ending, I did like the ending. It was not the best ending I've seen, but it was better than Dragon Age 2's ending. It was conclusive, and you knew where the story was going after this ending. The twist with Hargreave and things like that, I pretty much guessed on that, considering he's always a hologram. So that's pretty much it. I don't want to get more into the story. The story was the weakest aspect, and I don't want to put a bunch of spoilers on the story because then you guys don't have to watch my walkthrough, and that's not proactive at all. That's just hindrance. Okay, you didn't hear me say that. Please watch the walkthrough if you want to, though. So, like I said, the story was the weakest aspect. I think it needed work. I think they needed to hold our hand and take us through during the early times of the story, just to get people who didn't play the first game up to speed. If you guys remember Dead Space 2, that came out this year. There was a whole video, like a 7-minute video, dedicated to just what happened in Dead Space 1, in case you had not played that game. I think they should have did that with Crysis. Of course, they might have did it with Crysis. I didn't check the extras. So, you know what? I might be the asshole right now. I might be the asshole. But Dead Space put it right under New Game. If you hit New Game, boom, you could watch what happened and what previously happened on Dead Space. Okay, so after this, we're going to do the verdict, and then we're going to end this review. So please, here comes the verdict. It's coming up next. All right, the final part of our Crysis 2 review is the verdict, and this is my endgame score for this. Nanosuit Ninjury, armored assaults, and some pretty badass shit that does come up with this game. We're not going to recap anything. Love the graphics. Didn't like the story much. The guns were mediocre. Loved the epic moments. Loved the mechanics to the game. And to me, mechanics, epic moments, things like that, that's everything. So I officially, in our first Junked Robot review, give Crysis 2 4.5 robot heads out of 5. Also known as epic as fuck. And that does it for our first review ever, guys. I thank you for watching, of course, if you do watch, and I appreciate it. If you have any advice to make the production values better or things I missed, please comment and subscribe, and also get involved. Tell me what I did wrong. Tell me what I missed. I will do everything for you. I know I did not do multiplayer for this, but like I said, I did not actually own this game. So I did not have enough time to play both campaign and multiplayer. I probably could have if I actually rushed through the game, but I did not rush through the campaign. So I guess my laziness is your loss. But don't worry, we will have plenty of multiplayer stuff coming up soon. Mostly SOCOM 4 or Mortal Kombat, whichever one or Portal 2, whichever one you guys choose. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please check out the playlist of Crysis 2 if you'd like to see more. It will be in a link in the description. And also, it is now easy mode for you to subscribe to my channel because I will be putting a link in every description of every video. So thanks again, guys, and I hope you enjoyed this review.